Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It gives me great pleasure to announce, live from the outer space, it's Chicago Vintage with Ken Riley. Let the good times roll.
Oh my baby, really ain't good to me. I say, oh my baby, baby. She never be fair with you. There ain't nothing I can do. Real cool baby, I'm so good. Got a big problem, saying true. Long back hair, it shines so bright. So it just wants like my baby man just ring the bell. Want the hell, I'll get his head.
Well, hello again, and welcome to another installment of the Chicago Vintage Show, the show that comes to you from the outer space located in Music Suburb, USA, Berwyn, Illinois, located just outside the great city of Chicago. We are all proud to be from the great city of Chicago. We're all proud to be vintage freaks. We've got our pink sofas, we've got our two-tone shoes, we've got our raccoon skin coats, and our little banners that say state, and we're ready for another installment of the Chicago Vintage Show. I think you're going to like what we've got for you today. Our musical guest is, of course, the guys who do the theme song here on the show, Them Guilty Aces. We also have quite the chanteuse. We are so grateful to have her in town to be able to be on the program. Once again, our good friend Rosie Adolfo will be with us. And what is an installment of the Chicago Vintage Show without Beth Wagner and another animal? So that's coming up. But before we roll on this little vintage show, let's have a little vintage news. What do you say? Wow. Bits on the show are getting their own applause now. This is pretty exciting. 1955 brought with it the opening of a new theme park in Anaheim, California, Disneyland. The park still brings delight to all rich children and also to that one adult we all know who never really formed a healthy relationship with his own past. That's what we call a smattering of applause. In 1952, Jonas Salk created the polio vaccine. Hundreds of country clubs were up in arms, releasing statements that their fields were perfectly intact, only to realize later that they misheard the statement, polo lacks green. Oh. That's just for our writers. That's just for our writer, Sophie. Well, 1950 to 1954 saw the rise and fall of McCarthyism, which was an intense anti-communist era spearheaded by Wisconsin Senator Joseph McCarthy. It was kicked off with a speech in which he claimed to know of 205 card-carrying communists in the U.S. State Department alone. Naturally, everyone freaked out. But I'd like to use that as an opportunity to show off our latest segment here on the program, which is called, Hey Joe McCarthy, there are worse people out there than communists. There are. Hey, Joe McCarthy, someone who texts you and then calls to confirm you got the text is worse than a communist. Hey, Joe McCarthy, someone who brags about how early they wake up every morning is worse than a communist. Joe McCarthy, someone who eats yogurt on the bus is worse than a communist. Hey, Joe McCarthy, someone who has seen every episode of The Big Bang Theory is worse than a communist. Hey, Joe McCarthy, man, you were never alive to see Ann Coulter on the news, but oh boy, you thought you hated communists. Woo! And finally, they're excited because this is the last one. In 1954, the statement, "Under God," was added to the Pledge of Allegiance. The pledge is great because there's nothing less communist than making a bunch of kids do the same thing at the same time every day for their entire childhood until they become numb to it as adults, and then as adults have their children do the same exact thing because they're told to, and so on, and so on, and so on. I'm Ken Motti, and that's news to me. We are so geared and primed here on the Chicago Vintage Show because the guys who are responsible for writing and performing our theme song are here live as they happen. Ladies and gentlemen, dressed to kill, them Guilty Aces. Yeah.
So bad.